Actually, I'm talking about the proper opener.
What do you mean by proper
opener?
openers?
As a regular opener like Shommo, Liton, will they open for the main round matches? It's my first question.
Okay.
And second question is the time with the Bangladesh team you
Yes.
have passed, and it is your officially last assignment, if
Yes.
as far as my knowledge goes. So how was the experience so far?
Well,
That's it.
outstanding. I've been the boy again. I've said I've had the boys welcome me with open arms. They've been very open to what I've brought into the table. They've been very accepting. They've been sort of, and I've been treated as one in the family. So I'm very grateful to the boys for having accepted me that way. I think they've learnt a lot. I've learnt a lot, and it's been a great journey.
If
for me.
any extension hands to you, will you accept it then?
Again, let's finish the World Cup.
And then
first.
regarding the openers,
Opener, why are we so fixated on openers? Why don't we? I've said this before. We have to look at Bangladesh as a team. Why are we so caught up with openers? That's a question I don't. Yeah, but we have to look at Bangladesh as a team. We must learn how to win matches. I said we have to try and win the second half of the game, like the second 10 overs. The second 10 overs with the ball. I think the more we play as a team, the more everyone understands their role. Every team you see in the world, they're so open with their batting order. Finch comes at number 4, Cameron Green opens. So I think we've got to be flexible. And in T20, I don't think you can have a fixed batting order. We have to have matchups. Some teams, like playing Mujib against Afghanistan, you cannot have two left-handers. You have to have a right-hander. So I think there is a lot more that goes into it than I think the thinking of proper openers. I mean, that has to be looked. What do you mean by proper openers? That's up for discussion, right?
okay.
Sri, I've got a question, right? Opening is a big concern, and it's a talking point.
In New Zealand, every match we've got 40 in the first 6.
Yeah, right.
Why do you think opening is a concern? That is the question I have. Every team managed in New Zealand 40 runs in the first 6 overs. That was about par score, and that's what Bangladesh achieved every time when we batted. So why do we think opening is a concern is a question that I have. Okay. So I think we're paying too much attention on the openings.
Right. So my question is, we are paying too much attention at this position, but according to you, which one is your concern? It's top order batting or middle order or the lower middle order batting?
Team combining well, winning.
Right.
Sri, if we look at the team management, they are trying to click the team. And
they're trying
to motivate the team, and definitely in that case some cricketers, they are out of form, but you are giving the chances to those guys. What about Nazmul Shanto? He is good in the net, as we heard, but he is not clicking in the match during the opponents. So what actually happening with him as the headmaster? What problem actually you find out?
I'm not a headmaster, first of all. Let's get that right.
Okay, as the
Again, it's a
So what is the
situation.
problem?
I think it's a situation that he's got to deal with. He's got to keep learning. He's got to keep evolving. He's a very good player. He's got the shots, but I think how he plays the situation, how he plays different conditions, how he plays different bowlers, it's a learning for him. And we've been constantly talking to him about it, looking at footage as to how we can improve. I think these are little things that we can do from a coaching point of view.
See, you spoke about the opening partnership in New Zealand, but we saw 4 opening partnerships in 4 matches. So
Everyone got to 40. Is that it, a tick mark?
that's the way to go forward in the World Cup too.
I don't know.
See, how's Mustafa is doing? So I saw he's trying to bowl with the old action little bit, like 2015, 16, 17. How is he doing?
You have to tell me. I think he bowled really well in the warm-up game, in the nets. He's definitely been working on that slower ball, which was his best delivery. And we've done a lot of footage. We've watched a lot of footage with Alan Donald, myself. So we've done a bit of work on his arm path, his arm speed while bowling the slow ball. So I think he's developing. He's done it.
See, we have 5 games in the World Cup. What's the basic goal for Bangladesh in the World Cup?
Win 5 games if possible. That's obviously everyone goes to win, but again we've got to be realistic, and I think we've got to take one game at a time. We still don't know 2 of our opponents, so we're still waiting on that. But I think taking one game at a time is very important, and dealing with that game without thinking too far ahead, and even game within that game, break down the game into as many little segments as possible, and then win those little segments. I think winning those little moments in the game is going to be crucial. And I don't think we should look at 5 games as a whole. We should take one game at a time and even break that game down and win small moments in the game. And that's what I'll focus on.
What will be the role of the spinners in this condition?
Hobart looks like it's going to take a bit of spin because they've already played a lot of games on it. So Hobart, again, we've got to go there and see. But looking at the TV, looks like there is a bit of spin in Hobart. Sydney traditionally helps spinners. We hear that we may get one boundary long and one boundary short. Again, we got to go there and take it as it comes. Brisbane traditionally is a good wicket to bat on, bit of extra pace and bounce, but big square boundaries, so helps the spinners. If they can bowl that back of a length, brings the spinners into play. Adelaide, long straight boundaries, short square boundaries, and traditionally this time of the year the ball might grip a little bit. But playing against India and Pakistan, who are 2 good players of spin, we've got to go there and assess the conditions.
Big ground in the Australia, all over the Australia. So it will be help for Bangladesh or it will be the disaster for Bangladesh?
It will help because our batsmen generally like pace on the ball. We are not power hitters, but we like to use the pace. So the big ground should help the batsmen as long as they're hitting the right pockets. We're running hard between wickets, and that's something we've been focusing on. Hitting the right pockets, knowing your field, and then running hard, finding the boundaries. So if we can get the right tempo, I think we'll be doing well.
Coach, as you mentioned that the big outfield boundary is actually helpful for the Bangladesh cricketers. So let me please remind you that against in Tri-Nation, against New Zealand in the second match against New Zealand scored 14 twos and Bangladesh scored 4 twos. There is a big difference. Do you think
they scored even 17 or 18 twos? Yes, they did.
These are the things actually Bangladesh need to exploit in the Australian outfield.
I think the next game against Pakistan, we scored 14 twos, Pakistan scored 14 twos. So it was similar, we closed that gap.
But it was a big gap against New Zealand, that's what I mean.
But we learned from that and we got 14 and 14. So definitely it's a learning. A good point, well done.
Stat says in subcontinent teams,
I'm a good one.
Thank you.
subcontinent teams are now preferring more pace than spin. They are playing pace very well. Will it be a good sign in Australian conditions for us and for the subcontinent teams?
Sorry. So
Stat says subcontinent teams are playing pace very well than spin. Their strike rate against pace is very good. In T20 particularly, in last 1 year. Will it be a very good sign for Bangladesh or subcontinent teams in Australian conditions?
I think subcontinent teams are definitely improved against pace. We've got so many people throwing with the side arm, and we've learned to play against the bouncing ball. I think subcontinent teams definitely have, even Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, they've developed their game against pace, which is a huge positive.
Thank you.